Birds of a feather, we fly together, baby. That is my jam, y'all. Mm. God is good. God is great. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I was trying to get
Mhm.
Kia what's it called? An invite to calls.
Kia Bia. She put her whole puss in that goddamn song, man. Wow, Billy. Wow. The white girls are gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right.
You are hilarious.
Nah. You heard her. You heard her album.
You know the crazy part is I actually haven't done a deep dive of her album as much as people have been talking about it. I probably should, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to get outside the box, have to listen to all types of music type thing, whatever. So I was listening to her. I was listening to what's the other white girl that did her thing recently too? Sabrina Claudia, not Claudia, wrong name.
Carpenter?
Carpenter, yeah.
Yeah, I figured you said one.
I was like, listen, the white girls, this is what I like. I like for y'all to be beach blonde, bubbly, you know what I'm saying? Like, bring back the white girl aesthetic, the Farrah Fawcett, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all was eating. Y'all don't need to have box braids anymore. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't need a wrap. Y'all could just stay in this cute little pop bag. They was eating so good, so good. What's up, y'all? Shout out to y'all. Let me share the room. Share. Okay, because you know how Elon and his pasty pale ass like to do it.
No, we gonna be good today because I didn't put a link with the graphic, and yeah, we should be good. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Oh shit! Because listen, he's a hater. I'm gonna just be real. He's a hater, certified hater. Kia, are you talking, Kia? Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Oh, okay. But
All right, y'all. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's at? What's at? Let the room fill. Let the room get a little heavy. How's everybody doing? Sunday, fun day, soul Sunday. Where's everybody heart at?
First of all, I decided to watch the rest of Snowfall. Why didn't nobody tell me it ended like that? Like,
Snowfall. Damn, I Dameson.
yeah, or what is his name? Damson
Ye-
Idris or something like that. Yeah.
Something. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, where he ends
Mhm.
up being the crackhead.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think he was a crack. I think he was just a drunk, a poor drunk.
Poor drunks. Either way, drugs. He is like him seeing him. What's the thing? It's like in a way, it kind of was like his karma, low key, for contributing to fucking up the community and the greed and the pride. Like
I
really,
don't
really,
know.
really.
Like, I disagree because I just feel like if he were the sole character and then shit just didn't work out for him, cool, whatever. But basically, he had pulled his entire family into this shit, made sure everybody was good, and then every fucking body flips on him. Like, what the fuck? I'm low key glad 'cause at the end, his aunt, who basically was the reason why everything got fucked up, she ended up having to be on the run for the rest of her life. Because she escaped the CIA when they raided her house. But outside of
Mhm.
that, fucking Leon was good. This nigga was in fucking Ghana being Mr. Africa and shit. Then like, he come back like, yeah, I want to be a lawyer and start a law firm and blah blah blah. Yeah, you doing that shit on fucking drug money. So you couldn't help Franklin? Like, all right, bro. And then his mom sold him the fuck out and shot the nigga right before he got his money back. Like that show was a fucking mess.
Yeah,
I'm
I could agree
upset.
on that. I could agree on that part. That part was definitely like, but you know what? For Leon's sake, I will say I feel like I understand both sides. I understand, like, okay, maybe you should have helped him out, but at the same time, it's like Leon already kind of foreseen what would have happened if he would have gave him that money. It's kind of like, damn, like I already know what's gonna happen if I really give you this money, bro. Like, and I'm not trying to have your life be, I don't know.
I
I
don't
think it was.
know. That's
I never thought Leon was on the side of like trying to be be weird or funny or like, nah, I'm hoarding the money because I want to
I
get,
don't
you know,
know.
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like he low key did because in the scene when he asked him for help, he still was literally like the head honcho drug dealer nigga. So it's like, so you are a drug dealer with your drug dealer homies surrounding you, and you can't help me.
Yeah, I
And they,
feel that.
I don't know. I thought that ending was so fucking trash. I'm sorry.
Nah,
That
it,
is the spirit for today. I'm just annoyed because of that ending.
the spirit of what's his name, John Singleton, R.I.P. R.I.P. It kind of went downhill low key after he did pass away too.
I really am curious to know like how much of the last season he actually wrote,
Hmm.
or if they just gave him the credit for it and he didn't write any of it. But I was not feeling that ending.
I feel you. Still a good series though.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Chilled with the family. Had to play Auntie Milan, you know. So that was really good. I had an event with the NBA, which was really dope for the rookies and shit like that. So I got to, get a bag this weekend, have fun, chill with little ones. It was good. It was a good time. Good time. Can't complain. I'm super exhausted though. I'm not gonna lie. I was literally napping up until like 5 minutes ago when I hit y'all. Like, yo, uh, what we doing out here on the phone or what? But yeah, it was good. It was good though. What about you, Kiers? Hello, Kia. She probably rolling up. Okay. Um, we're gonna give Kia a minute to get her bearings and her gatherings. But you already know. Oh wait. Oh, I think something going on her phone because she just left the room. Oh, oh, I thought the room ended just now, but that was me. That was me.
Oh shit, Kenyatta's in here. He gave a lot of great insight last time we had a call.
Yeah, what's up, Kenyatta? But where did Kia go though? I don't know if we want to start without her, of course. What's up, y'all down there in the bottom? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Damn, I almost feel like we should start it over.
I mean, Kia not here right now. Why does this always happen, y'all? Oh my gosh, the Supremes! Come on, y'all! Come on. I mean, I don't know where she's at, but I don't feel right starting necessarily without her. So, what you want to do, Yon?
She's in the audience now, and I'm about to invite her back up.
Oh, okay. Damn, I can't even see her. See, that's that.
And then she exited out. I don't know what she was doing.
You guys hear me?
We
Yeah, we
can
can
hear
hear
you
you.
now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, okay, I'm back. Hi, everyone. No, because it
Hey.
was like right when everything was starting, that's when people started calling me. I'm like, why are y'all? I literally was calling everybody earlier, nobody picked up. Now all of a sudden I'm doing something, people want to call me. I'm like, why do y'all do this?
It's like a little alarm that goes off when people are like, you know what? I know she wasn't busy earlier, but I just feel like calling her right now when she's busy.
Like, no, I actually need to do something.
All right. So we want to jump into. Wait, kid, we didn't hear from your weekend. How was your weekend?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was doing a lot, but no, I really didn't do anything. I just spent time with Zoe. That was basically it.
Zoe, Zoe,
I can't
Zoe.
wait to drop her off at my father's house. Oh my god, I can't wait to drop her
His
off.
grandpup. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's time for him to be grandpa. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Reasonable dialogue. You guys know how we do. We are here this Sunday giving y'all I don't want to say it's off schedule, but we do pop up on a Sunday when it is needed for a good, week starter, if you will. But definitely we got some topics that we definitely want to discuss with the overall landscape of everything we've been experiencing so far. I know it's been very, 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 very heavy. Cat Williams, you have to pay for your crimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like you done
Yeah.
open this bitch wide open, and everything that's anything has been coming through this portal this entire time. I don't think we've stopped since that interview dropped. I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like it was every week, month, something was going on. But yeah, that being said, this is our, personal space, our condo, as we like to call it. So you guys know, be respectful. We do appreciate everyone's opinion. So if you do have something to add to the space, don't be afraid to request that mic so you could come on stage to give your opinions on what we, are going to discuss today. We just ask that, you respect us. I can't hold y'all if y'all don't respect anybody else in the room. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the head honchos, myself, Jan, and Kia, we demand that respect. So don't talk over us. And we're gonna have a very, very great time, okay? That being said, which I want to start with because it's been a lot. It's been a whole motherfucking lot. And unfortunately, I don't even know where we should begin.
I mean, I guess we should jump right into it and just get it over with. Wait,
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
sound like a thunderstorm. I'm sorry. That's why I was like, wait, what? Um, but yeah, so that was Monday, right?
Mm,
Or
when the
when
indictment happened.
Wednesday? Yeah, whenever he got arrested.
Dum dum dum.
Whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so Puff got arrested this week. I believe it was either Wednesday or Tuesday. Um, he's being indicted for numerous things that everybody already knows about. But if you don't know and you've been living under a rock or you actually like have a life, it's sex trafficking. Um, he has a RICO charge. They found guns in his house. They found, of course, everybody's been joking about this thousand bottles of baby oil. Um, and yeah, just a whole bunch of other weird and very disgusting things that someone of his caliber and just level of success shouldn't have. Things that they shouldn't be doing to any human being, no matter what level or status you're on. But yeah, so that happened this week, and of course, there's been like numerous conversations going around about Puff. Um, he was denied bail twice. The first time, well, there were numerous reasons going around, but basically, the court feels like they don't want him to possibly tamper with any witnesses, because it has been reported just from records that Kalina Harper, who was once a part of Diddy Dirty Money with Don Richard and Diddy, that he called her about 54 times when Dawn released her statement about things that she had endured. And they just don't want him to possibly tamper with witnesses because he does have a history of doing so. I'm not sure how many people read the Rolling Stone story that they did a couple months ago where they really went in depth. But back when he had the case with Shine back in like, what was that, '01 or 2000, um, he during that trial also tampered with witnesses and made phone calls and payments and such. So to avoid that, they want to keep him locked up. Part of his what he was willing to offer if they let him go for bail was literally all of his kids' passports, his passport. Um, he was willing to put his house in Miami up for collateral, and he was willing to put his mom's house up that's also in Miami. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say about that aspect. Right now, he's in BMC, which is the Brooklyn or BDC or whatever. He's basically in Brooklyn, in a detention center. Um, and there's a report that he's on suicide watch. I'm not surprised by that. They normally put very high profile people on suicide watch just because obviously they so used to one lifestyle. Like to go from that to prison is or jail is just
You're
that could be
going
a
to
lot.
jail, prison pants.
You're going to jail. Um, but yeah, he's on suicide watch, and that's basically all the updates we have so far is that he's on suicide watch, and he is trying to counter sue or like counter argue some things, some of the accusations against him, saying that the statute of limitation has ran out. Um, but I don't think he realized that all of these things were filed when New York opened up the law for you to file all of that stuff. Um, yeah, I don't think he has the greatest lawyer. I'll just go on the record and say that. But that's
That's
all
what
the
people are
updates.
also saying as well too. The lawyer seems like he's in for the
Yeah.
money. Is a money grab, so he's a nasty nigga.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Budden gave a great example of it, but it's like that lawyer that knows his client is going to jail, but you're just here just to collect the check because you know it's going to be a
You're
good
right,
payday.
right.
That's basically what.
Because regardless if he wins or not, he's still gonna get paid what he needs to get paid from a high profile case like this and exposure. Because let's be
Oh,
honest, things like
absolutely.
this definitely still puts an attorney on a different kind of level. Regardless if you win or not, you're still gonna be remembered for defending the diddler in this case. So yeah, yeah. And
Absolutely.
it was Tuesday. You were right. It was Tuesday where he
Tuesday.
got indicted. Yeah,
Okay. I remember it was like early in the week. Like it was like, whoa, like this how we starting off the week? It was like mad
yeah.
crazy.
Because
Um,
apparently they had said he was supposed to be arrested the following day, but they moved it up um a day earlier to basically arrest him, which was, I guess, the alarming part for majority of people. Like, okay, like this shit must be real serious. I mean, it is a serious case, let's be honest here, but it must be that damning that the federales really have a case. And people also say, like, just for, what is it, history's sake, in a sense, like anytime the feds get involved, it means that they do have something on you. And because of their what is it, prosecution rate, is like, you must really be guilty of the shit that you have going on. Like, the beating the feds in this case, or any case in that matter, is very unlikely. They have to have something strong and concrete on you for them to even have a defense against you to bring up those type of charges. So that's also another point of, like, this is not like, your local NYPD or, police department or whatever. This is like, nah, these are the big, the big wigs of the justice system, if you will, type of thing. So I think that is also very interesting to say as well too.
yes. Um, yeah, and to go to that point, like, with like this is like the real big dogs, like just off of the fact that they found AR-15s in his house with the serial number scratched off, that alone is enough to send you to jail for at least a good 15.
That's illegal, right? I
It's
would assume that's
illegal.
illegal. Yeah.
It's illegal, especially if he does not have. First of all, he shouldn't even be owning a fucking AR-15. But two, the serial number is scratched off, which you're not supposed to do. That usually means illegal trade or something is involved. Um, and then if they don't find any paperwork tracing that you are the owner of that, you're
It
going to
looks
jail.
crazy. Yeah.
Um,
Because you could have used that as a murder weapon for anything.
they don't know what the fuck you could have did with that AR-15. Like,
Right. Yeah.
and he had multiple AR-15s. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, here's one just for a rainy day. No, he had, I think, two or three AR-15s in that
That's
house.
the crazy part to me. It's like I can understand having one, considering the shit that he's done and the type
Right.
of accusations against him, as far as like the type of violent person he was. But it's like, to have multiple. What do you need that for?
That's, and I mean,
Honestly,
Like,
because the
better
nigga's a
question.
devil, so he knew. I think honestly, he really had to have known some shit was gonna blow back on him, regardless if it was the justice system or if it was just a regular random person. Because when you've done the extension of things that he's done, he's not the Black Epstein, guys. And I also want to just say that really quickly, like, let's kill that noise of him being the Black Epstein. No, nigga, he's on the same level as Epstein. You get what I mean? Like, there's no black version of this. He's not the Black Hugh Hefner. No, he is Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, the freaking owner of Bad Boy, and also a predator, abuser, sex trafficker on the highest of levels, just like Weinstein, Epstein. So I think that was very important. It was very poor and distasteful for me personally for people to use that, because I think that's another reason why people love to say, like, oh, they're trying to bring down our Black billionaires. Fuck that noise. Like, he is not no Black Epstein. That nigga is Diddy, the motherfucking nastiest nigga in hip hop. Okay, one of them, because we Russell, we still gotta open your papers. Okay, okay. But go ahead, Kia. Go ahead. My bad. I cut you off.
No, 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 you good. No, I actually thought this is why you can't smoke in do spaces. Um,
I was like, I bet you she rolling up real quick too.
bruh, you cannot smoke and do spaces, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. Um, but yes, back to this nasty nigga Puff. Um, so on to the diddler. I know there's been a lot of one thing that I don't like about, or rather, I won't say I don't like because I understand the media landscape has changed. So the way people would run towards the news for things, it's like people kind of run towards podcasts for things. So you want to hear the reaction of the people that you consider to be quote unquote leaders in media. And so I feel like a lot of people were kind of waiting to speak on Puff. And when we were trying to decide what was going to be the photo for this cover, Jan was like, I really don't want to put Puff on the cover because, like, how is that going to look? And even in my head, I was trying to envision it. I'm like, yeah, niggas might drag us. Um, but I had saw a TikTok of this young man, and he was basically like, what did Puff do? Who did Puff piss off? To have all of this happen. And I literally, like, stitched it, and I was just like, he pissed Cassie off. Like, why is it so hard to believe that this woman started this? Is it because a lot of times women are in positions where they've been so beaten down by the system or so beaten down by their abuser that, you know, they don't feel confident or comfortable enough to come out? Like, no, he did this shit to numerous people, but Cassie was just the wrong. I mean, all of them were the wrong motherfucking ones, but Cassie drew the line, and we should give her flowers. Like, the the things that she went through, the things that these women went through. I mean, I
And
don't know.
men, if we're
And
gonna
men,
we're
and
gonna have
men,
to
because
include
yes,
the men in this.
we
Yes,
have had several men, come out and make accusations. I actually think one of the people that sued him actually won their case,
they
against
did.
him.
$100 million, but I think
Yeah,
something went wrong with that verdict because of everything that basically happened now. So like, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
got you. I figured the case in New York was going to kind of jeopardize that case because that, like, the case in New York is a federal case, and that was more, I think, like a state or something like that. So yeah, I figured that was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just important to celebrate Cassie, is celebrate the women and the men, but I really want to celebrate Cassie because I think I remember during that time frame when they were dating, I was one of those people. I loved seeing their photos together. I remember for like, I think it was like a throwback party or something. They had like matching MCM outfits. I love that photo. I used to like keep it on my mood board of like relationship goals, like, like, not as far as I wanted their relationship, but you know how you just see something aesthetically pleasing and you like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
aesthetic, right?
We don't want y'all
Um,
relationships. We never want
no,
y'all
we just like
relationships.
the
Y'all
aesthetic
just
of
look
y'all
cute.
outfits.
You
Yeah,
feel me? Y'all
right.
look cute. Whatever.
It's the outfits, it's the scenery. Maybe y'all at a nice island or something. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it's a good
copy that.
photo walk. I like that. I may
Right,
recreate that. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
I'm trying to go to Italy and take the same photo. That's what I'm
You
saying.
feel me? You feel me? Me and my
Um,
bae. I don't know. Where you at? Where you
right.
at?
I'm just trying to do my own thing. But during that time period, it just seemed like they were such a cool couple. Um, I always felt like that relationship in an odd way was holding her back musically, but I never had a reasoning behind it. Of course, now we know, but at that time I didn't. Um, I, I really truly feel like this sense of like, and I hate saying this because I'm a grown ass woman, so I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I do feel like a sense of innocence being broken in a sense for me because like I actually used to playfully call myself K Diddy. Like Diddy was somebody that I really did look up to because I kind of felt like he's a businessman, he's a mogul, he got it out the mud, da 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 da.
We're
And he
not
did,
gonna front like everybody didn't have Diddy as a
yeah.
mood board,
They
a
used to
vision to
say
want to be
everybody
that.
want to shine like Diddy, but nobody want to grind like Puff. That used to be like the main like grind like thing
Right.
people would say.
Even the video, the iconic video of
Oh, of him
him when
screaming in the
screaming,
office.
I can do anything. I can get whatever I want. Like
Yeah,
like I posted that like what a few years ago type shit. Like this is the mood type shit because like it's inspirational. So it's not like we were off for feeling like this is who we want to look up to. It's just the actions of what he has done that we don't want to follow in.
right. And I think it's funny, right? Because at the time that I think his legacy was at that place where it was like he was moving beyond being like just Puff in the mainstream, and he was more of an icon in our eyes. It was at that same time where grind culture was really like prevalent. Like even our ideas of what feminism is, what I mean, I remember back then, like even though it wasn't that long ago, it's only like 10 years ago I'm talking about, but like I remember people were still arguing about Chris Brown and Rihanna and whether that was a real domestic violence situation. So even our opinions as a society on domestic violence, on sexual assault, on consent, on all of these things that are now totally different. It was just a different time. And that's not, I'm not excusing that, but like you just really, I don't know, like you kind of look like admired that era of hustling and getting it out the mud and all of those things. And so it's very interesting to me that now that we're living in a time where we have the language and the knowledge to understand, oh wow, so I wasn't bugging. What I was feeling was real. And he really did manipulate me into doing that when I didn't want to do that. Wow. So when I said no and he kept going, that was wrong. Like, okay, like we're at a place where we have the language, we have the knowledge to now understand the things that have been done to us. And that could be really painful years later because now you're unburying treasure, like you're unburying trauma that you didn't even know you had buried there. It's kind of like this
Right.
idea in psychology. I forgot the name or the term for it, but it's basically where something so traumatic happens to you that your brain literally blanks it out.
Yes, you forget about it. Like
Yeah.
I say that as an example because I remember I was watching this documentary of this girl. Trigger warning. But it was a documentary of this girl. She was being sexually molested by her father. He was recording it. She had no recollection of it because I guess the trauma that she went through with him was so detrimental to her. She literally blocked it out. She didn't even recognize herself on the tapes when the case came out, whatever the case may be, because she had literally blocked it out of her mind. And that was one of the first things that I've even heard of. Like, you could go through something so traumatic in your life, especially as a child, that you literally block that shit out. It doesn't even exist to you until somebody has to tell you, like, yo, this thing happened to you. You know what I'm saying? It's almost damn near unbelievable because it's like an out of body experience where you're not even familiar with this is what happened to me. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And when you add in drugs into that, it's like it makes it even worse because now it's like not only is my body and my mind going through something traumatic, but like now I don't even really remember what happened. If I think it happened, maybe I was just bugging. Like, and it's the power that comes with manipulation, it's scary. Like, it truly, truly is. And I am just as a woman who has also been through, trigger warning essay, like I couldn't be more proud of Miss Cassandra Fine. Um, I feel like her ability to really stand on business and hold him accountable. And those TMZ videos, like I know first of all it's invasive as fuck, but what I enjoyed was the smile on her face and the glow on her skin, and just seeing her with people that clearly love her or care about her. Like that's like yes, I love when people get what they fucking deserve. Like, and so I just want to give Cassie her flowers. Like, I don't think people, I know we maybe shit on her a little bit. Well, I don't want to say we, but like, I know people have maybe shit on her musically. Maybe they feel like she's not the best performer or singer, whatever the case may be. But I can say Cassie has eaten me up multiple times in multiple things. All you bitches was shaving one side of y'all head when Cassie was outside, okay? That look in the official girl video when she had on the boots with the jacket half cut open with the
Yeah.
jeans, like fuck is niggas talking about? Niggas don't even dress like that. Son, y'all niggas don't even know what that shit was. I don't even know what that shit was, but that shit was fly. Like, like working with Ryan
Nah, you're
Leslie.
right. Uh-huh.
Nah, for real. Like she was working with Ryan Leslie. She was like, "I'm addicted to you." Like she hit the shit. People don't even know she's on the background vocals for Jay Z's Rock Boys. Her and Beyonce are the ones saying the Rock Boys in the building tonight. Like that's her and Beyonce. Like niggas gotta really give Cassie her credit. She popped up in the Nicki Minaj the boys video with the white bathing suit on, and the like. Come on, son. Like Cassie
Yes.
really has reached a level that people like Bianca Jagger or just those women that like they were just so they are so fucking cool, just so fucking themselves, and their aura just speaks for that, and we accept that and we fuck with that and we love them for that. And I just want to give Cassie her motherfucking flowers, bro. Like fuck everything else. She deserves what she deserves. And yeah, I'm sorry, I just wanted to do that for Cassie. And yeah, and shout out to Kim Porter. I mean, like, we might as well just,
With all due respect, shout
with
out
all
to
due
Kim
respect.
Porter, shout out to the victim, shout out to everyone that has come forward. And I just also want to say really briefly, like, the reason why Cassie does deserve so much love is because the courage, like you said, that it really took for her to do this. Now, let's be honest, with everything that has come out with Diddy and knowing, like, my nigga, Kid Cudi confirmed that you blew his fucking car up. You know what I mean?
Wildest shit ever.
And that's motherfucking the hum god. Like, you blew the hum god's fucking car up over Cassie because you are so controlling and vindictive. Like, and another point that I want to make is the fact that Puff not only intimidated women, he intimidated the shit out of men. So when you have a victim who is scared shitless to come forward, I remember that I have it in my drafts because I meant to put it, but I didn't want to disrupt the timeline. It was basically me saying, like, the same way Diddy intimidated and put fear in women's heart, he did this very same thing to a lot of men. So when men come forward, and not making this a gender thing, but when men are, or even pick me women, when y'all come forward and try to say things like, why you wait till now, and all this stupid ass conversation that don't even need to be had, remember that Puff also intimidated some of the toughest niggas. You understand? The biggest and toughest niggas. He intimidated them motherfuckers. So why do you think a woman is supposed to just come forward, or you know what I mean, when the men that he also abused and he also had very evil doings too didn't even want to come forward? So I think on the side of that as well, like, I just needed and felt like that needs to be said too, because we always see that rhetoric when it comes to victims now speaking out. It's always a why now, and it's like, who gives a fuck when it happens? I'm just glad that it actually is said, because you don't know how much damage, how much time, how much courage it took for this person to come out. And when you were saying earlier, Kalina, I mean, of course people could have their thoughts on her, because for me, I also have my own thoughts. She's a little but that's another conversation. But I will say, I do believe that she was intimidated. I do believe that she feared for her life. And I do believe that whatever it is that she was willing to do, it comes from I got to protect myself. I got to protect my family. Unfortunately, in order to really stand for something, you got to be willing to die for something, and that's just the overall fact. When it comes to anything in this world, you have to be willing. I'm ready. I'm willing to die about my dreams. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to be willing to die about something, and a lot of people are not willing to die behind standing up for what they truly believe in. So we can't fault them for that at the same time too. But we shouldn't put down the people that actually had the courage to come forward, because who knows what could have happened to Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen him do such heinous things. Well, at least read what he's done to other people. There's no telling what he would have done or how many other witnesses he was intimidated. I remember the lady that got shot at the whatchamacallit, the nightclub, when she started to come forward and say, no, it was Diddy. I seen Diddy. He's the one that pulled the gun. A lot of people were coming at her saying, oh, well, why are you now saying that this, that, and the third? Not knowing that, she got shot in her freaking face, almost died, was literally coerced into basically, you know what I'm saying what she said at that time. You get what I mean? Like, people don't really use their mind a lot when they so quick to want to blame the victims. And for me personally, as someone as well that is, that has been SA, I hate when people blame the victims, because you don't know how much courage it took for that person to even say, hey, this thing happened to me. And I think instead of trying to point the fingers at the victim, we need to start pointing the fingers at the predator, beating these niggas the fuck up, all right? And maybe unaliving them. I don't know, euthanizing them on the low. But hey, listen, one step at a time. But I would like to say that those type of conversations, I hate to see it, and it's important for us to really uplift the victims during these times, because it takes so much for somebody to finally say, yo, this thing happened to me, and I don't know the consequences behind me actually stepping out and saying it. I mean, look at Kim Porter, since we're gonna, get into her as well. She was willing and able to put out her life story because her story was attached to this thing here. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, things are weird of her passing. It just didn't make sense to me. But yeah, yeah, that's just how I feel about that.
Oh, I'm not gonna get into the astrology girlies, but the astrology girlies are.
They're eating. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
not getting into Kim in that. I'm just gonna give the angel Kim her flowers. We love Kim. Shout out to Kim. But on the topic of just all that you said, I think my biggest issue when things like this happen is just the level of ignorance that comes out, and specifically from our community. Because the amount of misinformation that I've seen on my timeline in the last week has been like, as a journalist, that shit has been like triggering. Like,
Bring back real journalism, please. For the love
I
of God, we are
like
begging y'all. We are begging
I
y'all.
no, I can't even say bring back real journalism because there's journalists there. They ain't got money to pay real journalists. That's the problem.
True,
I
true.
but I just feel like the amount of misinformation that I've seen on, like, the timeline, the amount of rumors that I've seen being spread as truths, the amount of first of all, let me start with the photos, right? Because y'all been going on Get Getty or wherever, Google, and just typing in Diddy parties and just taking them and posting the pictures and saying, "Oh, this was a Diddy party." Y'all don't know how fucking top, like, that shit can ruin people. You can't do shit like that. Like, I can't, like, sometimes when I get passionate, I don't find the right verbiage for things, and I hate that about myself, and I'm working on that. But basically, that's some dumbass shit to do. Like, I can't sugarcoat it anymore. You cannot just look up Diddy parties and then post those photos and say, "Oh, look, this is a Diddy party," knowing what that insinuates. All of those people that have attended a Diddy party throughout the years have not participated in his bullshit and what the fuck is going on over there. And to make matters worse, even Rod Digger came on here and was like, "Y'all really need to be careful with that shit because that photo of Aaliyah was from an actual party. I know I was there." Like that wasn't no nasty shit. And it's very disheartening that people just, for clicks, for retweets, for engagement, y'all are just posting false information on social media and then running with it as the truth. I go on TikTok, people making stories. "Oh, Mary J. Blige is on one of the tapes." What fucking tape did you hear? Because I'm a legitimate journalist and ain't no fucking tape out. So what tape did you hear? Like, the shit that I hear and I see, it's like, it really does make me angry because it's just like, if people who can actually reach out to these people or their teams and get statements, or at least know, something, and you guys are just out here just spreading false information. Survive magazine, I don't know what legacy you guys want to uphold for yourselves,
Talk about it. Shake the
but
motherfucking room. Shake the table. Shake
to
them hoes up.
to post a list of Diddy parties that have happened over the years and pictures of the celebrity guests who attended, did you get the clicks? Did you get the engagements? Did you get what you wanted? Because I'm just confused on how you, as a quote unquote reputable black publication who is supposed to support and document and report on accuracy within our R&B and hip hop community, I don't understand why you would think that's acceptable. But knowing what I know why you think that's acceptable. Moving on,
Mm.
pushing that pushing that to the side. Um the industry politics shit. Because I've been seeing a lot of people on here acting like they know something. "Oh yeah, well, in the industry, this is what they do anyway. They da 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 da." Y'all don't know shit about nothing. I'm
You
telling
work
you
at
straight up.
Walmart. Shut the
Y'all
fuck
don't
up.
know shit about shit. You got a cousin that somehow got a Rock Nation hat, and you think that transferred some like mysterious powers from Rock Nation, and you know
They
something.
sell the fucking hats on Jamaica Avenue for
I
$45.
promise you, I done
Please.
seen. I love the
Please.
crackheads. I done
I'm gonna
seen
be 100.
crackheads
That's
with shit
literally
on.
exactly why I don't have too much in depth to say about this topic, and I feel like this is what also troubles me about when these kind of things happen in the hip hop community, in the Black community in general, right? It's like I feel like we grab hold of these huge happenings, these current events, and then we turn them into these like almost like a joke almost, because it's, and even literally jokes. Like I feel like the amount of baby oil jokes I've seen on the timeline, it kind of is, it's, to me, it's disrespectful to the people who are actually victims, whether they have come out or not. Because you're turning this shit into a spectacle and trying to get retweets off of, like, to Kia's point, a bunch of false facts that y'all are just pulling from Google and the homie that works at Rock Nation or whoever, they work in the industry in 2004 and think they know something. And it's just like, to Kia's point, the truth of the matter is a lot of us don't really know shit, and a lot of the shit is alleged. So it's like all we really can do is hold space for the victims here and have grace for the people who may not have stood up for them in the past because of what we know, how violent these people could be. And beyond that, it's just like I think all these narratives that are popping up that are just based on nothing, they're just so harmful and toxic. And it's honestly been really fucking crazy to watch play out over the last week or so, since the arrest. And yeah, man, like I just think we as a community need to really do a lot fucking better, because that shit is wild to me personally.
I can't even blame the white man for the mentality of how our people have been acting. I can't even blame it because there should be no way possible. Immediately, you niggas decided to create whole skits. Like you went out, bought all of those baby oils to make a fucking skit for some clicks so niggas could say ha ha or nah nigga, you're bugging out. Regardless, the integrity of people overall, the moral compass of people overall has been lost. It's been lost in the motherfucking sauce. And I don't think there's going to be a time where we're going to get it back because and I don't know if this is me also, getting older, but I mean, certain shit is not fucking funny. It's not funny. And for me personally, I'm not making this like a gender thing, of course, but I'm going to be very honest. It's very, very disheartening for men who have been essayed to literally sit there and not even acknowledge them. You get what I mean? Like, there's no acknowledgement for the men that's been SA because it's been also said. And the fact that everyone is just poking jokes and just feeling like, okay, this is my time to shine. Maybe, I'll go viral for this. Is just the problem with everything because you now have, like Kia said, reputable Black publications that are supposed to be by us for us falling for the bullshit and spreading the bullshit as if y'all niggas should not do that. It like that's why even with the Rolling Stone and they have their thing too. Don't get it twisted. But the fact that they were able to do their own personal research, deep dive, ask questions, their own investigation into this shit, to me showed okay, this for me at least is what active journalism looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they were ahead of all of this shit that is kind of happening right now. But when you have our own publications, Double XL, Vibe, all of these fucking these losers behind these fucking paywalls writing dumb shit just for the clicks, it's like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening? What the fuck is happening? Like, shit is really, really sad. And I get you, Kia. Like, there's no money really for you journalists. And I feel bad for that because you guys are actually the reason how we know about shit. You get what I'm saying? We are supposed to be reading and looking towards you guys to feed the public the information. And even these people are either being diluted by bloggers and just trying to have a quick clickbait kind of, conversation and engagement farm. But something got to stop. And something has to be done because there should be no reason why people who are in these higher places are allowing this shit to be even running the way how it's running. I expect bullshit from TMZ. You understand? I'm not going to give TMZ nothing but my ass. But everybody else that's supposed to be for us, it's very disheartening to see that shit. That's just how I feel about that.
I
I
think
mean,
another
what?
two for me,
Oh, go
that's
ahead.
another thing that's been really disheartening is just watching a lot of the men in the industry essentially kind of lump all of these allegations into this conversation about, oh, so niggas can't be freaky now? You getting arrested for being freaky? And it's just like,
Fucking
that is
idiots.
so harmful to men, women, whoever who want to come out as victims of this type of shit, whether it be from Diddy or who else. And it's just like, I think it's really interesting to watch this stuff play out with some of these men in the industry. Who haven't necessarily been accused of anything yet, because to
But they're
me,
telling on
it's
themselves. That's
literally, I
exactly
was
what they
literally about to
doing.
say that it's such an indication of their character, because it's like, for you to lump all of this into he's being too freaky is fucking crazy. Like, where is the integrity?
Exactly. And that's for me. I love this is why they say you let somebody talk long enough, you're gonna really start to see that person's character. And that's how you could determine how a person who a person really is. Just let people talk. Let these motherfuckers talk. Niggas have been jumping out the motherfucking window trying to be on the wrong side, having the
Absolutely.
worst opinions over shit. What the fuck do you mean? Oh, niggas can't be freaky? How about no? Niggas don't need to drug people to be freaky. Niggas don't have to freaking do certain things to people against their will to be fucking freaky. No, you niggas are predators. But the thing is, they have to be simple minded and make it just a one dimensional, oh, it's just freaky shit. Because the reality is, like Kia said earlier, because we have now the language to describe the things that have been happening in this industry and just basically around the world, it's like, hey, maybe you did coerce this person into this. I know it may sound crazy. You may not have thought it, but the reality is that's what happened. Maybe you did essay this person. You weren't aware of it, but that's the reality. It's like niggas don't want to be seen as the bad guy, the abuser, the predator, but niggas don't want to educate themselves on what not to do. You get what I'm saying? And to me, I think that's just the craziest thing, because it's like for instance, let's just talk about it. Flip, the last conversation he had, which I had to like comment on it, was like, the nigga been dumb for a long time. I'm not gonna hold y'all. That nigga been dumb for a very fucking long time. I don't expect any type of real knowledge to come from that dome, if we gonna be real, especially on shit like this. But for you to even sit on a podcast like a Joe Budden podcast and sit there and say that, and have Mel have to be the one to tell you like, yo, listen, you know what I mean? Like, you're a grown ass fucking man. You mean to tell me you don't understand nuance? You don't understand the difference between literally drugging somebody and having them do something against their will versus you actively saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? You want to tie me up and lick my ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the person be like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna tie you up and lick your ass. And even if in the motherfucking middle, if that person was to sit there and say, hey, you know what? I actually don't want to do this anymore. You're supposed to fucking not do that shit anymore. Like, you niggas don't understand that? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But I know these like these niggas gotta get put down. I ain't gonna hold you. These niggas gotta get put down. We gotta put these niggas down like dogs. Some of these niggas got, and some of these women too. I ain't gonna hold you, because the pick me's is crazy. The fact that y'all still running to go take pictures with Diddy just for a photo op, where the fuck is y'all niggas integrity? Where the fuck is it at? I don't understand. I just don't understand.
No, I mean, you said my points about Flip, so like, I have nothing more to say about Flip because he actually responded back to me, and I knew I was about to be arguing with a brick wall, so I just
What
stopped
he said?
responding. I don't even feel like reading it. It was like an example of like he was saying, so basically if you have an argument with your girlfriend and you stop your girlfriend from leaving and she stay, she could turn around the next morning and say she was kidnapped. And I was just like,
He
Oh
didn't
no,
really say that. He
God,
didn't really say
I'm
that.
dead ass. You can go on my Twitter page,
Oh
bro, and
my
see that he
god.
said this. And I
my god.
commented and said, so you're equating an argument with your girlfriend and trying to like just, talk to her afterwards to drugging and like essaying people? I don't really know. And he responded back with, where did I compare them? And I was like, sir, you are literally conflating the definition of miscommunication with consent. And I had to kind of like give him two different examples, and he still responded with something. He said something, but it was like an hour later, and I was already high, so I just didn't respond
It's
back.
the fact that you even had to go out your way to educate. You see, this is my problem. You literally had to go out your way to educate a grown ass man who has the ability, the same phone he's using to tweet, he can go and Google shit. The same motherfucking phone he got in his hand, he could go and Google shit. But yet, you had to come through and educate this nigga once again on why he is wrong. And this is majority. And I say him, he's a representation of a lot of these motherfuckers out here. Like, you niggas do not pick up a book, and it shows. It
I
shows.
don't think it's that. I mean, I do think some of these niggas are here out here are stupid. Don't get me wrong. There is a large community that is stupid, but I think the other part of it is this level of fear because I don't think people are ever really taught. People are always taught how to apologize, but people are never taught how to hold themselves accountable and what accountability looks
True.
like in an action form. So I feel like, let's say you have a man like Flip, who, because I'm not sure how many people saw the scene or saw the clip that we're talking about, but in the Joe Budden podcast, Flip was basically saying, so now you can't fly prostitutes out. So, which already is illegal because like prostitution is just not a legal crime in this country. Um, but he was like, so now you can't fly prostitutes out. Now you can't even like, kiss up. Like, basically like he was just trying to figure out what was the line that was being drawn. And Melissa Ford had to explain to him like the difference between consent and like just having a miscommunication in a relationship or in a situation or something like that, and how because our language has changed, yes, people can have an interaction with someone and then years later maybe realize, oh wow, that happened to me, but I didn't have the language or the knowledge to know that that happened to me. um and he kind of got up and got a little upset. He had some additional questions to ask Melissa, but then he said, no, I'm not going to ask it because, whatever. And I guess he's like trying not to be problematic in the clip. But I think there's also this level of fear, right? Because let's say, not using Flip as an example, but let's just say there is an individual who maybe 10 years ago was in a room with a girl and was kissing on her. She said, stop. Maybe not in like a yelling way, but because, I don't, I'm willing to be honest about sexual encounters. Sometimes you really get uncomfortable. Like, honestly, most of the time you're uncomfortable unless it's somebody you really does it. But like, as a woman, sexual encounters can be scary, they can be intimidating, they can be like, and that's coming from a woman who's experienced. Like, it can still be like, oh my god, okay, all right, wait, slow down. Like, wait a minute. um
Yeah, I
because
agree.
a lot of time, one, women, we already have trauma, and then two, it's just like that whole language of like, you're like, when you go through that, even when you heal from it, there's still this instilled fear in the back of your mind. So like, any little thing, like someone touching your knee. I remember for years, just a man touching my knee would like turn me. Hey, don't touch me. Don't do that. And that's just some simple shit like touching my knee. So I
Or the
think,
lower back, like when they're like,
right, like
yeah,
it's just certain little things that as women we just naturally, unless we really fucking with, like, we just don't want that from every man. That is not what women desire. That's not what we want at all. um but I feel like maybe Flip, or taking Flip out of it, but maybe men from his generation have done things where maybe they were kissing on a girl, dealing with a girl. She said stop, but maybe not in a way that was alarming or yelling or anything, but just like, hey, stop. Yo, come on, chill, stop. Like, and they kept going. And because you don't want to fight them, because you never know in 2.5 if they're going to continue to be this nice guy or completely flip on you, um, you end up going through with something that you probably did not want to go through. That leads into a whole nother conversation about when men be like, yo, she was mad tight, she was mad this, she was mad that. Yeah, because she was uncomfortable, nigga. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But they went through that, and then years later, because our conversation around sexual assault and sexual violence and all of these things have changed, you have to hold yourself accountable if that aligns with your past behavior. But how do you hold yourself accountable when nobody's ever taught you the act of holding yourself accountable? Um,
And that's what's really fucking up our community is accountability at its highest, in my opinion.
I think too, a lot of those men are struggling with the idea that they might have did something wrong, and they really just it's just also on top of the lack of accountability, it's just ignorance. Like, did I do
Mm-hmm.
something wrong, or I don't think I did nothing wrong? She said yeah, or she said no at first, and then eventually she let me, and it really wasn't. It was nothing. It was cool. Everything was great.
Right.
And I think a lot of men are struggling now, and you're seeing it play out with a lot of these older men in particular,
Oh yeah.
where they are kind of defending it because I feel like a lot of them are struggling with the idea that they might have done something like that. Maybe not raped a woman, but like coerced somebody, manipulated somebody, and
Or
that's
just
what.
didn't take no for an answer and kept going.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of that what we're seeing now is just lack of accountability and ignorance playing out, and it's unfortunate because it's like at that age you would just think instead of just being loud and wrong and stupid on a mic, why don't you just maybe reach out to those women that you feel like you might have done something to, have a conversation, talk to a therapist, do some research, like anything except get on a fucking mic and be loud and wrong. But
Oh, like actually improve your quality of life? Oh no, why would they want to do that? Wow. Let's slow down here, everybody. Accountability, being a better person. I don't know about that. I like being shitty.
And like I don't, because I've gone through phases where it's like once I started to unlearn certain behaviors and just things, and I became kind of angry and very like a hard ass. So I try to be more like I want to educate you before I condemn you. Because maybe you truly just do not know. And like I just think if you don't know what the first step in accountability is, I just always say at least start by like if a person comes out and tells you, hey, you did X, Y, and Z to me, it made me feel like this, that, and the third. Of course, the first step is always an apology, but I think the second step is just asking the person, like, how can I make this right if there's a way to make this right?
I
And
agree.
you guys can have that conversation because maybe to them there is a way that you can make it right. Maybe it's just by, I don't know, being a nicer, whatever it is that y'all agree to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. Like, people do hold, because, you know, sexual violence, to me, there's no thin line. Like, I feel like if a person says no, no is no. You know what I'm saying? But in some cases, some people might feel differently and they might feel like, I'm willing to forgive, not forget, but I'm willing to at least forgive for the sake of my own peace of mind if you're able to just hold yourself accountable in some way, shape, or form. And whatever that is showing up as, then I think you should do that. And I mention that because at least, you know, the whole thing is that Cassie did reach out to Puff and she did try to get things kind of like hey, you did this to me, right? Like, and it was a denial, and from there came the lawsuit. So I feel like if somebody is reaching out to tell you directly, hey, you hurt me, that alone I think is enough to kind of be like, okay, so how can I show up in my best way now? Like, maybe I'm different in that because I always felt like not I ever wanted to sit down from my abuser because I never even got an apology from my abuser. I never even got an acknowledgement of what was done to me. But I always wish I did because then I could have gotten that moment of accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. No, no, you're absolutely right. And I think when it comes to that, it's like, and I hear you because I do feel like we shouldn't just be so quick to write somebody off if they truly don't understand. But the problem with a lot of people today is that people want to be loud, strong, and wrong. They don't even want to hear or be open to the possibilities of, you know what? Maybe this is another perspective that I could look at it as. It's almost like people just want to live within what they believe and their belief is law. You get what I mean? So it's like those type of people, which would be an example of, Cassie saying that to Puff and Puff reacted in that way, would be an example of somebody who is very much so not open to hearing or having accountability. So with me, those type of people, of course, discernment is required. You have to see how people operate and how people respond to things. But when you have a response like that, which is unfortunately majority of what I personally see, I can't talk, for you ladies' experience of what you see, but majority of what I personally see is not a lot of accountability. It's more of, well, I'm wrong and strong and that's what it is type of thing. And that's the problem right there. Like, you need to be open to also hear and accept accountability, because people think accountability also makes them an evil person. It's like, no, accountability. And I remember I had an argument with somebody on Twitter because I said everybody should learn accountability so you can be better people. And somebody was like, well, you guys need to learn how to mind your business because not everybody wants to be a better person. And for me, I just felt like, what? Like, I'm not saying you have to be a perfect person. No one's saying you have to be an angel, but accountability literally can save your life. It can literally help the next person. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, for you not to be open enough to hear that somebody's experience with you wasn't the best, for me, it kind of also gives like a little God complex. Like, well, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm that nigga, so what did you expect type of thing? You know what I'm saying? And I think Diddy has a lot of arrogance and a lot of people who did look up to him in that regard too, who not even look up, who are defending that also have that type of personality trait, in my personal opinion. It's like, it's a whole lot of arrogance because let's just even look at the fact that he made a statement about all of this shit was lies and this, that, and the third, just to turn around and have to make an apology to Cassie. You know what I mean? It's like, you had the opportunity the very first time around, if not the second time around, to really take the accountability in that. But accountability is hard for a lot of people because you have to also live with the reality of you being that thing to that person. And sometimes when you have that God complex, you don't want to seem that way to that person. You act, even if you're abusing them, like think of a freaking manipulator, an abuser, they still want to be held at a high regard in your life, although they are being completely trash to you. It is a crazy psyche to have to, deal with and study. But at the same time, I really feel like that for me is a reason why I'm a little bit more harder on that, because I'm not saying age comes with age is supposed to come wisdom. It's supposed to, but we see that lacks a lot. So for me, it's just like, if you're just unable to change in a positive manner and you want to stay stuck in who you are, which is whatever it is, then you're just not somebody that can be held accountable, and you deserve whatever comes to you, to be honest. I mean, you still deserve whatever comes to you if you still are accountable, if you did something, but it for me, it amplifies times 1,000, because it's like the arrogance, the ignorance, just the God complex, the entire thing of just you feeling like you're just this perfect person that does no wrong when you actually are hurting and harming people is ridiculous to me. And when people are telling you that you're doing this and you're still not believing it, it's like, okay, I don't know. Maybe you got to get put down, nigga, because you're not learning no other fucking way. I don't know. I don't know.
Another thing I've learned from, I have like a lot of older friends around me. And what I've noticed is most people, like even us, you're an average everyday person, right? We feel like we would call ourselves stand up people. And well, most people, excuse me, are not going to say that they're flawed or um they have ill character, or if they do have any flaws with their character, they're likely not going to address it out the gate if you ask them, like, what do you think you could work on character wise? And I feel like what happens when this type of stuff comes out into the public and people are being accused of X, Y, and Z, and you see men come out essentially denying it and making jokes out of it. What I've noticed is a lot of people, because they feel like they have stand up character, they they don't want to take accountability, more so because they would then have to address the fact that they are flawed, which would then have them essentially having to dig back into why they're flawed. And for some people, it's usually because of how they were raised and their upbringing, and it actually could be traumatizing for them to address whatever harms that they're doing to other people, because whatever they're doing to other people is a result of what was done to them. And I feel like what I've learned with people is a lot of times they don't take accountability for shit because it would require them to do a real, like, deep dive into their own spirit and figure out what harm was done to them as children or even adults, right? Like, some men are shitty men because whatever women did to them when they were growing up and dating, and like this, they're now essentially returning that same energy to everyone else that they deal with because they haven't addressed whatever hurt that they experienced with whatever woman or women that they dealt with in their younger years. And I feel like a lot of the lack of accountability is literally just a rejection of having to do a deep dive into self.
Yeah, I mean, for me, accountability is dismantling a power structure. So if someone is hurt and the one person has the upper hand or the upper power, I guess, in that situation, then by holding yourself, because the repercussions are going to come regardless for your actions. For every action, there is a reaction. So, regardless of any form of like lack of accountability or full accountability, whatever you did, there's going to be a reaction to that. Um, it's almost like when they say you might have intended to do something, but the end result was this, right? So that's a given, but I think when it comes to accountability, it's just more so about leveraging the power. So it's just like, well, I don't like I'm not going to hold that over you. I can't hold that. I like I apologize for this is what I did. This is what it's the ownership of manipulating someone. It's the ownership of hurting someone. Um and that shouldn't be hard emotions to hold because we've all held those emotions at one point or another. Not in this context, but we've all hurt someone. We've all made someone feel uncomfortable. We've all done something where we've had to own to whatever that feeling was that we made that person feel. And so I think it would be amazing if Puff did just come out and say, "I fucking did it. You're right. I did it. You caught me. It's over. It's done." Because at the end of the day, you're not going to hold any form of what you believe is power based off your influence and your wealth in there. We're seeing it now. A non near person called, reached out, made a statement on your behalf. Nothing. So I think at this point, when your back is already against the wall, why go into the wall? Just hold yourself accountable. Just say it. Because at this point, you're
Pride.
not getting out of it. And pride is such a bitch, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
pride could really get you killed.
It can. Yeah. And
So
whichever way, spiritually, mentally, physically, it can get
it
your
could
ass
get you
killed.
killed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, prayers down for Puff. That's my like final statement until we get
Prayers
new shit
down.
down. Prayers down for Puff.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. Prayers down. Like
Everyone say thank you, Cassie. Okay, so this is how y'all gonna do it. Y'all gonna like post a heart, but everybody say thank you, Cassie.
thank
You
you,
gotta post a heart.
Cassie.
Okay, y'all not gonna post heart. Okay, the rest of
Y'all
y'all in the audience
better
not gonna
post
post no
hearts.
heart. They probably trying to figure out like how do we post a heart.
You'll find it. You'll find it. I know you guys are very intelligent
Right,
in this
just go to the
room.
heart and press the heart. There we go. We
Thank
getting some
you.
hearts. We getting some
Thank
hearts.
you.
There we
Thank
go.
Y'all
you.
are so
Thank you.
funny.
Cause
Nah.
everybody say thank you,
Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Cassie.
Like that's important. Nah, for
No, for
real. Cause
real.
it takes one. Sometimes all it takes is one, man.
Nah, who would have thought Cassie was gonna be the bitch? Cassie said, "I got something for your
She said,
raggedy
cause you got
ass."
a long way to go.
Oh,
Rock with me now.
rock with me now.
Listen. I love for a person to really, really like be so brave in that sense because it gives hope to a lot of other people. I'm not gonna lie, it really does. And if it wasn't for Cassie, I don't think we would even be experiencing this shit right now with Puff and all of the stuff that was coming up. This nigga could have possibly been doing this another 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Until he was 80 and niggas would have been like Bill Cosby. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful. And I will say that it definitely has created a major shift in the industry. If it already wasn't heading that way, oh, the floodgates are completely open now. Like, and I'm kind of excited about it. I really am excited about it because the industry has been ran very much so like a old boys club, and it's been not beneficial to women for a very long time. We are the unsung heroes of the music industry. We deal with a lot of BS, even at the littlest levels to the highest levels. If you are a part of this industry, I'm sure there's somebody that's dealt with some form of something at the hands of someone else that they did not need to have to go through. And I do appreciate and love the changing of the guards. And I do, you know what I'm saying? That terminology gets thrown around or whatever. But I do think there is a major shift that is happening where you can't just do bullshit. You can't just treat people how you want to treat them. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, nobody's just gonna accept anything just because they're trying to make it now. You get what I mean? So it's like you niggas that can't even pull that card. Like, everything is changing. Get all of these nasty niggas that built this motherfucker off of being predators, built this shit off of being nasty, built this shit off of being abusive at the hands of women. Women have been the forefront of this motherfucking culture since the test of goddamn time. Every time you hear a successful story about a man, understand there was a woman that made a play behind that shit. Any type of documentary you watch, there was always a woman that made a play for the success of a lot of these major wigs in the music industry, et cetera, et cetera. And it's unfortunate that we don't get respected, we don't get paid, we don't get nothing that we truly do deserve. So I am grateful and I'm proud of Cassie because she really did create more. I don't want to say like it wasn't already happening, but it definitely more of a shift in the industry because now everyone has to look at everybody. You know what I'm saying? We have to now really peel back the superficial layers. Let's peel back all of the fake transactional shit. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Who are you as a person? Because that's what matters. That's what's going to carry on in this industry. It's not about your accolades. It's not about your accomplishments and your achievements. I don't give a fuck about how many fucking awards you got. Who are you at your core? Because those awards don't mean nothing when there's blood behind them, when there's hurt behind them, when there's people that had to suffer for you to even receive an award because of what, you know what I'm saying, at the backs of, us and the victims of this industry. So shout out to the unsung heroes of the music industry, which is majority of women and some of those men out there that are actually good. And I want to say that because in a era where everything seems like is bashing. It's not a bash session, of course, but we're gonna call a thing. A spade is a spade. But there are those that do hold integrity, and we appreciate people, men and women alike, that hold integrity. They're willing to not take the job because guess what? I don't want the association or the affiliation with this said person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate people like that, and we need way more of that in this industry. And I'm sure we could really change the landscape of of this shit that we love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that when you now hear certain records, it has that nasty, you know what I'm saying? That nasty smell to it now. You can't play certain things because now it has this association with this person. But there's a changing of everything, and the same legacy 20-year legacy records that was created then, we now have an opportunity to really change this shit and make something new for the next 20-40 years. And that's how I'm looking at it, as like there's new moguls that can be in place, people who are actually qualified, people that don't have to steal, rob, kill to get to the top. We could actually do it through talent, through it being organic, through the love of this shit, how it was before.
I think to your point too, another amazing thing is that this is all happening at a time where the music industry is significantly shifting as far as with all the different layoffs and people stepping down. Um, and I think for that shift to be occurring during a time where so many people are now being held accountable for their actions, I think sets a new almost standard for the code of ethics, essentially, like how people are going to be carrying themselves going forward. Because in the back of your mind, it's like, I know I can't operate in XYZ manner because this will become a thing for me. And it's not going to take 20 years either. Like, we're not going to have you abusing women for 20 years and then 20 years from now you're being exposed for it. Like, I think now there's a standard, literally because of Cassie and everything happening now, that you will be exposed. And if you haven't been exposed yet and have already been doing whatever it is that you're doing behind the curtains, like, I just feel like a lot of that shit, like, smoke and mirrors are done for. Like Kendrick said, the party is fucking dead. um so I'm actually really excited for what this new wave of industry executives is it's going to essentially build. And I'm curious to see like what that's going to look like, because I don't feel like a lot of us are as invested in the major label system anymore, right? So I feel like with all the layoffs and everything, people are recognizing that we essentially have to build things ourselves, and with each other, because we it's just that system is no longer
Community.
sustainable. Hmm.
Community is being genuine community is being brought back, I feel like.
And I just feel like the label system that existed in the past is just it's not sustainable anymore. And it's not working for anybody. It's not working for the artists anymore, because the A&Rs who brought them on are being laid off. So now you got these artists that are kind of just like flying in the wind, don't really know what to do with their rollouts because there's not really much you can do. Then you got artists getting dropped. There's just all types of shit that's happening in the major label system, on top of everything that's happening with Diddy and a lot of other executives like him. So I'm a little disheartened, because it's like, for somebody who my entire life I grew up wanting to be a part of this industry, and now it's like the industry is crumbling when it's my time to finally be a part of it. But while I'm disheartened, I'm also excited to see like what my generation, the generation behind me, like what we're going to be able to build now that we just have a different set of code. um so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with all of this industry and Diddy bullshit.
Yeah, I this is just one final thing about Diddy. It was asked, how much do you guys feel social media and personal brands plays a role in why we're seeing reactions that we're seeing to this Diddy situation? Do you think people would react that way if they were getting engagement benefits from it? Do you mean if they weren't, or if they were getting engagement benefits from it? And are you referring to like the videos that everybody are doing, like the little like baby oil videos and shit that people have been doing on. I've been seeing them mainly on TikTok, but I know everything from TikTok come over to Twitter any fucking way. Um,
Are we inviting people on the stage yet, or
oh damn, you might have left when I was asking for clarification. Yeah, but make this Diddy shit short, y'all.
yeah, you could request to come on stage if you have anything to add towards the diddler situation, of course. But yeah, we're gonna keep it short and cute.
I'll
But
just answer his question. I'm gonna assume he was trying to say if they weren't getting engagement
Okay.
benefits. I would personally say that I do think people still would be engaging with it in the same way, because if you think about Twitter before Elon and all the payouts for engagement and shit, like obviously now I do feel like we're seeing a lot more bullshit come across the timelines. People are literally just looking for engagement to get paid off of it. But I do feel like even before, excuse me, Elon, people was trying to go viral and just wanted to be at the forefront of the conversation for anything that major that happened in the culture. Like I don't feel like Elon paying people for engagement made that a new thing. Like I feel like people have always wanted to be at the forefront of the conversation, whether they were well read in whatever topic or not. And I think that's kind of the problem now. Like we are where we are because people are so thirsty to be the fucking voice of everything, right? Like everybody feels like their opinion matters because of social media. So I don't even necessarily think it's Elon. It's because of social media being prevalent in society, everybody feels like their voice is so important and needs to be heard, and they had to be the voice to speak on whatever trending thing that's happening. So I really feel like we still would be seeing all of this shit whether niggas was getting paid for it or not, personally.
yeah, I agree. Clout is a hell of a drug, and that's the only reason why a lot of people even feel a need to speak on things 9 times out of 10, because there's a lot that don't have any kind of. There's no dog in the fight for them, to be honest. It's just to be heard, to be seen, and if you do have, thought provoking opinions, of course, that are not trying to just, um, be created for engagement versus like really trying to understand and like have a real dialogue, then cool, whatever. But majority of it is people are just trying. People feel like because they have a mouth they should say something, and I think the lack of discernment is what's really wrong with a lot of people, is because you don't have to have an opinion on everything. Certain things you just got to learn how to just scroll up. You know what I'm saying? Like just scroll up, ignore it. It doesn't need your expertise, especially when you're not even a fucking expert in it. You have no nothing in it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you have to be necessarily involved in something to have an opinion, but the influx of just terrible opinions is a lack of discernment from a lot of people, and just the era that we're in, like you said, where people are trying to go viral more so than they are trying to really have like a thoughtful conversation. And that's the problem for me personally. It's like, all right, you're saying this because you're just trying to create engagement for yourself so you could be known for being whatever on social media. You know what I mean? So it's really nothing that a lot of people have to add to it. So spaces like this and other, people that actually have positive opinions on stuff matter than those that are just here just to create, more division and more dumb shit that people are accustomed to doing. Kenyatta's back though. Oh, we kind of answered your question though, Kenyatta, when you stepped off, but alrighty then. Okay, we don't have anybody that wants to give their opinion on this Puff situation. That is that's quite all right with me. All righty. So what do you guys feel, right, about music in general now, with, like you said, Jan, mentioning like the whole layoffs? Like recently, I guess we heard another label did a major firing of their employees. Over 100 employees from Atlantic got fired. So I want to know, like, how do you guys feel about? And for me personally, I don't think is if we're going to be honest, I don't think it's necessarily all music. I think it's a specific sector of music that is being laid off more so, and I would have to say it's more of hip hop and rap spaces with these labels, because I don't see the country niggas getting laid off unless that's something that we got to do. We got to do our Googles for to find out. Like, I don't see like pop spaces, neo. I don't see none of that. I see majority of these layoffs, it seems like, is directed from the hip hop rap standpoint where these layoffs are happening. So I want to know from y'all, my beautiful co-host Jan and Kia, and of course, if you guys have opinions on this, how do you feel the fate of hip hop in the space that we're in now with all of these layoffs? Do you feel like hip hop is being kind of not a priority anymore?
Man, that's such a layered conversation because I lucky feel like we kind of touched on it the last spaces, right? Where I feel like the music industry is in the place that it's in now because of the choices that the music industry made. Like, I feel like prior to a lot of these layoffs over the last, I would say 2 to 3 years, you had so many people in position that were of the culture, that were on the ground. These are people that had real influence in the space, in these roles that could potentially make a difference in as far as like what acts and talents are lucrative and how their careers are playing out because of what different moves are being made or marketing strategies or things like that that are more aligned with the actual culture rather than whatever the industry just wants to do. And I don't feel like the C suite invested meaningfully in those people to make decisions that would be beneficial to the labels, which then leads to now we have a lot of these acts failing because a lot of shit is just not meaningful. Like, you're not allowing the A&Rs to really work with the artists that they really feel will be stars, and you're not allowing them time to develop the acts that they really want to work with. Instead, you're making them work with these TikTok apps because you think that they would be um lucrative because they already have the numbers online, and not considering that that doesn't necessarily translate to sales and streams and fans. um so now that that's not lucrative, now you lay those same people that actually have the culture, you lay them off. And it's kind of just like now we're just in this circle of bullshit almost, because you just didn't trust them when they were in position to make whatever moves they needed to make to essentially make hip hop fruitful, or maintain its fruitfulness rather, because it was definitely fruitful at a time. I don't know what specific year I feel like it
Niggas was
started to
getting
decline.
money.
Yeah,
Niggas
but
was
it's
getting money.
but it's
Ooh.
just like they just made a sharp turn, and ever since then it's just not what it was. And I want to be real clear too, because I feel like I have this conversation a lot in R&B as well, and sometimes I get backlash from people like, well, every time y'all have this conversation you're leaving out the artists and it's disrespectful to the artists that are really musicians and talented and really care about the art. And it's like I want to be really clear that as someone who cares about this, like I'm so passionate about music. I see y'all and I'm actually doing the work to try to help as many of y'all as I can. And when I have these conversations, I'm talking about mainstream hip hop and mainstream R&B. I'm not talking about underground and indie and everything the distribution and the independent labels are doing. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about mainstream hip hop. And it is absolutely being deprioritized, and to act like it's not is delusional. But I do feel like when we talk about it being deprioritized, we do have to look at what's been occurring over the last 5 or so years and what's being prioritized. And I just feel like I personally don't feel like people that were in position to really shake shit up were given the resources and the support by the C-suite at these different labels to really make a difference with the acts that they feel like could have been lucrative at the time. Like I just feel like now we just got a bunch of, for the most part, not all of them, but a lot of the hip hop talent right now is kind of like, it's not really. I don't really see longevity in it, and I think that's very intentional.
It's like a quick buck right now. A quick get rich scheme. It's a scheme that Todd set up. It's a scheme that Todd set up. Okay, but now I agree with you, Jan, on that. Kia, what you feel?
Yeah, I feel like y'all said everything that I would have said. Like I honestly, damn, I shouldn't have smoked. Um, but yeah, I mean, like y'all really said it. Like I don't really like niggas is broke.
I
Niggas is
think to
broke.
to put a
Niggas ain't
bow
got no
on it,
creativity. Niggas
when
ain't got no
you,
connections. Niggas ain't doing
yeah,
shit.
when you divest from the people who are of the culture and who are really passionate about this shit, you essentially turn the business into just a business, and you lose a lot of the quality and the care and the passion that goes into a lot of those legacy acts like a Beyonce. Like we're not going to see, in my opinion, a Beyonce of hip hop outside of like a Kendrick. After Kendrick, unless we essentially shift what the narrative is for the music industry and what type of people that we're putting in positions, or build shit outside of the major label. Like I said earlier, like I just don't feel like the major label infrastructure is what it used to be. And they do not value the type of talent that would essentially produce another Kendrick or Beyonce level talent. And if they do have those talents on the roster, like for example, like RCA has like Victoria Monet, who I do feel like could become like that level talent. I don't know if these major labels are as invested or invested enough or have the resources enough or the time enough to make sure that that is seen through. Um, but I guess we'll see.
I think they just don't care. I'm gonna be
That too.
honest.
That
I think
too.
they just don't care because there's money. I know what's her name? Bria Ryder. She had made a tweet about the money in the music industry is drying up and it's alarming. And then she came back and retweeted quoted her own tweet basically with the landscape of like all the layoffs and firing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera that's happened. It was like, see, I try to tell y'all, whatever the case may be. But I don't want to say like necessarily there's no money in the industry because these motherfuckers are still eating. The big wigs, they're still eating. It's unfortunately the little people that are suffering, in my opinion. And I just don't think they're allocating the money to the right spaces and to the right artists. If we're gonna be completely honest, it's like you niggas see somebody on fucking TikTok who just started rapping 3 months ago, but because they have like a fucking 15-second viral part of a song, you decided to spend what? $2-3 million of a deal to, you know what I'm saying, like to sign them and then put all this shit behind them, blah 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 blah, blah, and then there's nothing that actually there's no recuperation of that. Niggas are not even recouping what they're even technically spending because they're not even really spending the money right on on the right shit, in my personal opinion. So the lack of that, and I'm gonna be real, I think we've had this conversation before as well too, but the lack of artist development, I don't care what anyone says, definitely is hurting the music industry. Say what you want, call it what you want, but the truth is, y'all niggas are not investing into your artists for the longevity, for them to have longevity. So yes, they're gonna peak within a 1.5 year, and then it be done. They're gonna put out a little project and be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to sound biased, but it is what it is. That's why I feel like smaller boutique labels like Love Renaissance, you know what I'm saying? TDE with their artist development in that regard, they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They actually know what they're doing by letting these artists really be fucking well homegrown, seasoned, put that bitch in a slow cook pot, you know what I'm saying, 8 hours in the oven till it falls off the bone ready. Like, they just signed a another artist, Amila, I believe. I forgot how to say her name, my bad, y'all. But the whole point is she had already been signed to them for 4 years before she even announced being signed to them. It's not like, oh, we found her yesterday or a year ago. It's like, nah, we were developing her for the last 4 years, and now we're ready to present her to the world. And I think because a lot of labels or people at the labels don't have the trust within their and who they're signing, if we're going to be honest, they don't have that trust in them. They don't believe in them as much. It's like, yeah, this person is hot, this person is cool for right now, but I don't believe this person could really give me the next 5-10 years in this music industry. This person could just probably give me the next 1 to 2 years, make a bag, and then I'm out type shit. So it's a lot of different factors that I will say definitely play a part. But my number one thing is the lack of true artist development, investing in the artistry, because niggas don't want to spend the money to make the money. They kind of want you to come together so they could just make the money off of it. And that's what's fucking up the game. And on top of that, you're allowing anybody in it. There's no quality control. You know what I'm saying? Like, no quality control. Niggas are literally just hitting it, like being called iconic immediately. Immediately. You only been out for 2 years. Immediately. But yeah, I say all that to say, bring back artist development, you fuck bitches and fuck niggas.
I would like to add some nuance to the artist development conversation because, and I can honestly say I've definitely been shouting from the mountaintops, bring back artist development, but in just kind of like doing a deeper dive into that topic, I do feel like another thing that's not being talked about a lot is the fact that the K to 12 education system is divesting from music education. So considering we're not teaching music education and music theory anymore in elementary school, who is teaching music theory in order to be able to develop these artists? Like, I think it's a lot more layered than just saying like we need to bring back artist development. Like, we would need people in positions who know music theory and understand musicianship first to be able to get to the artist development part. And the fact that music education is being divested from across the country, I think is another conversation we really need to have about when we're having this conversation. Like, why are these artists not musicians anymore? It's because they don't, that wasn't what they came up in school. Like, when we was in school, for I can honestly say for most of us, my generation, I think even older, you played like that plastic flute, the recorder. You played a violin. You
Yeah.
played this, like, you played one of these instruments in band. Whether or not you stayed in band was another conversation. But you definitely had to learn some degree of music. Like, everybody took music in school, whether that be choir. But there was some type of music course that was taken in K to 12, and that's just not really a thing anymore. It's not required part of the curriculum for a lot of districts. So it's like when we're talking about why some of these artists are not also musicians, that's why. Like, it starts there. So if you're not being taught the importance of music theory in school when you are a kid growing up and deciding I want to be an artist, you also, that's going to be your mentality as an adult artist. Like, you don't need music theory, whether or not you realize you're using it anyway when you're producing music. So I don't know, I just feel like there's just this greater conversation needs to be had about music education. And I think when we talk about artist development, we do have to also be honest about where the education system is headed, where music is concerned, or has been rather for a couple years now. It's not new anymore. Like, this has been a conversation for like the last 5 or so years. As far as the music courses or whatever music studies being divested from in education. So I don't know. I just think it's a really layered conversation, but I do think to your point though, we do need to bring back real artist development, because that is the difference between what TDE is doing versus what a lot of these other independent labels are doing. They just are allowing the artists to grow, and if you don't allow the artists to grow, you get a lot of this wash and rinse shit that we're getting in the mainstream now.
True. Shout out to Key Henderson as well. She just also uh started her own. I think it's called Third and Hayden.
Yeah.
Her own shit too. So I mean, it's still there. I do hear your opinion on that. The schooling, the lack of education in that regard does and can play a part as well. But I would also say that there are still very much so artists out there that do care about this shit. And I just think that maybe they are also overlooked because they don't quite fit the aesthetic or the criteria for what a label is actually looking for right now, because they need it to be damn near together, like full package, before they can even say, hey, we're going to even look your way. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a million followers by yourself, selling out shows by yourself, doing the whole shebang by yourself before they can even say, hey, like, let me, assist you with some shit. But the smaller labels that are doing their thing and the independent artists that are doing their thing, like Neela, she is one of those artists that if you guys are not familiar with her, she literally like is a super dope artist. She does a lot of shit herself. Like when I say, you would think she has some type of backing, and no offense, not to put your business out there like that, Neela, but I see you as an independent artist. You know what I'm saying? Visuals, video, photo shoots. Like she just released the EP. You know what I'm saying? Consistent, like super consistent. And that shit takes a lot of fucking work as an independent artist. So you can get discouraged when you're like, damn, I'm literally crossing all T's, dotting all I's, fucking well, making all S's. And still, it can feel, not saying this is your experience, Neela, but it can feel kind of like discouraging for indie artists to see themselves do so much for themselves. And then this person who, no offense, but doesn't even have that much of talent be, pushed to the forefront. So, calling me. It's a combination of things, I will honestly say, that definitely affect this shit.
Yay, we got Nayla up here. Okay, girl.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
we can hear you.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for having this conversation. And I just wanted to chime in on what Milan was saying. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, everything you said was right. I do get discouraged. It's hard as fuck. Like, we all know it's hard. And when you're independent, as an independent artist, everything you do is being backed by you. Like, you're funding everything, your family's funding everything, So um, everything you said was right. I know you were saying, like, I don't want to like speak for you, but you were speaking for me, and it was 100% accurate. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for seeing me. Um, and yeah, thank you for having this conversation.
Thank you, girl. We appreciate you. Keep doing your thing, girl. Okay.
Love you.
Love ya. And listen, y'all, you don't have to have a million followers. You don't have to have a million listeners. You don't have to have none of that shit to have great music. If you fucking care about this shit, you love this shit, keep doing this shit. That's all. Like, that's it. The love gonna carry. I don't care. You book a fucking show and only 15 people came out. Guess what? That's 15 people that give a fuck about what you got going on. So always cater to the demographic that cares about what you got going on instead of trying to reach people that don't even give a fuck. That's how I feel about shit. I only care about people that care about me and see me. So that's it, y'all. Okay, that being said, I think that's a beautiful note to end this spaces on. It was a very, very deep, Sunday, but these conversations have to be had because we are very much so a part of the culture that we frequent, listen to, regardless. If you listen to music, you're a part of it. If you are, doing your research and listening to documentaries or whatever it is, you have any type of, stake in this shit, you care about this shit, then these conversations definitely need to be had. So shout out to Cassie once again for being an amazing, brave person to come forward and really unleash what should have been done a long time ago, but now that is being done now, we definitely have a chance to change every blood clot thing that's happening right now. Yeah, shout out to all, the homies at the labels that got laid off. This is your time to shine now. I don't know about you, but like I say, the laying off is not as it yes, it's gonna hurt because you probably was very, very, that's your job, that's your money, whatever. But I think Hobbs, if anybody that follows Hobbs on Twitter, he says something very important, which is like, this is now the time for niggas to really flex and really show their muscle and really, really like put their shit out there. If you believe in this shit, you believe in your artists, you believe in anything that you got going on, this is the time. Use your connections, use your community. Is more community that's going to be built now than ever before. And this is who and what we have to lean on. So that being said, y'all, we thank you for joining this space, Reasonable Dialogue. I am DJ Miss Milan, my sisters Kia and Yan. We do these spaces at least weekly. Our regular time is Thursday, but sometimes, we busy. So we got to pop up on a Sunday and give y'all a soulful Sunday. So we thank y'all. We probably going to be back on Thursday.
Y'all will see a flyer on the timeline.
Okay. Okay. We'll be back with some more music, culture, and all that great stuff. Make sure you follow the page, follow us. We do follow back because we ain't bougie. Please take your shit. Don't leave nothing, because once you leave it, it's ours. And that's what it is. Okay. Bye.
You ain't got to get out of it. Never mind. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the fuck out of here.
Bye, y'all.